Good evening, everybody.
I just found the keys to a city. The beats are big and the lights are pretty. So why can't we go to the busy where the dreams are in the sky?
That was There You Are by Pogo, and yes, here we are. Welcome to Lost Mannerisms. I'm your host, Forrest.
Anthony again. How's it going, guys?
You're here too much.
I am. The reason why is I swear that the fact is true. Alcohol that isn't yours always tastes better.
Oh. I don't know.
Speaking of which, today's drink of the week is good old scotch.
Yeah, we couldn't find anything. We couldn't think of a good drink. And
it really does taste better.
It's winter. There's not really too many good winter drinks.
I guess so. I mean, scotch is a good warm-up drink. Yeah.
Vodka's better.
Yeah, you can
Bunch of Slavs who would probably agree. Well, we're drinking Balvenie Doublewood 12 year, aged 12 years. It's
just how I like them. 12-age scotch.
Don't get me starting to censor you already.
I'm notorious for that.
It's probably one of the cheaper scotches from Balvenie,
yes.
And it is also one of my favorites.
I agree with that statement. First time I had this was with good old Alfred.
But that's cute.
It was cute, right? A little
but
moment.
Why don't we put your theory to the test? Why don't you buy booze for the show next time?
I'm more than happy to.
Okay.
You just tell me a place and a time.
Oh, boy. So, today, Saturday, February 9th, 2019, we were having difficulty planning an episode today, not going to lie. It's cold again. We didn't really have any too big of discussion talks. And then we pulled up the news.
The good old news.
And so it is the super big news blowout sale. What do we have? What do we have in store today?
We have a bunch of awesome stuff.
Just give us the quick points, and so that anyone who wants can skip ahead.
All right. So we have the Great Green New Deal.
Okay.
Excited to talk about that. We have the not the inaugural, the State of the Union.
Yes.
And we have a very touching moment with the Virginia Democrats and New Jersey rain tax.
Okay. And then we are going to give some gun safety today.
Yes, very good.
Because we haven't done that in a while, and it will be our last handgun safety episode.
Are we going to go to rifles and shotguns next?
We might go. We're going to go to something next.
Nice.
And then once we get through those, we can start doing shooting segments.
Sweet.
Because now everyone here will at least know how to safely hold a firearm. Mm-hmm. They might not know how to safely shoot it, but that's not our fault, and we hold no liability for actions you take yourself.
Exactly.
We claim responsibility, but that means you have to claim responsibility for your own actions when you shoot someone.
At the end of the day, it's always about accountability, folks.
Yeah. I guess I should say we claim responsibility for our own actions.
Correct. Good legal words.
So, we got the drink. This Green New Deal, we're probably violating it right now.
Yeah. Because, is it actually about the environment? Well, yeah, it is.
It is about the environment.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to frame it in the light of FDR's New Deal, which makes no sense, but I guess. In the words of Ben Shapiro, so fresh, so face, the fresh new face in the House of Representatives, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Man, what a character.
Why would you insist on being referred to by three names?
Because you want more attention.
Okay. So fresh. So face. I think Ben Shapiro's line on that is perfect. But she has finally pushed forward her big plans of the Green New Deal. And to start it all off, it's a 10-year plan that is completely and totally non-binding.
Non-binding.
Do you know what that means?
Once upon a time in college, yes.
Any guesses, or should I just tell the right one right now?
You can educate me for once.
So, non-binding means there's no consequences if it's not met.
I could have probably did context clues on that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So, like most of the laws proposed by
not binding agreement. That makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, guys. It's
You'll
a long
get there
day.
eventually.
It's a long day. That's why we have scotch. 12-year-olds. Scotch. That's not a joke, though.
So, non-binding. Mm-hmm. Basically, like most of all the Democrat legislations, there's no proof behind it that it'll do anything. There's no consequences for any actions. So, I hope we're recording on the audio too now. Wow, I'm worried about
No, we're good. We're cooking.
How do you know we're cooking?
Because it's doing the volume up and down.
But doesn't it do that anyway?
No, well, that is a good point. It has the stop button right there.
Okay, so it is recording.
It is
then.
recording.
Okay,
Mr. Loud Voice.
So, it doesn't matter. The big point, the big hard thrust of it is they want the United States to have net zero carbon emissions in the next 10 years.
Good luck.
Now, how are some of the ways they plan on doing this?
Some of the plans would be including no nuclear power, existing building updates, so I'm guessing they're doing something to cut down on the emissions of the buildings.
So they want every building in existence today to be completely retrofitted to meet energy standards.
Yeah, so pretty much instead of having a normal roof that will do normal things, you have a solar power roof and a bunch of problems at the end of the day.
You get a whole list of stuff, all sorts of insulation, all sorts of
yeah.
technology. But they want to do it without nuclear power, too, which is kind of weird because it's the cleanest energy source right now.
Yes.
We just have to figure out something to do with the waste. There's a shortcoming to everything.
Yes, exactly.
Like with the windmills, and whether or not this is true, I don't know, being bird blenders.
Probably.
Maybe.
I mean, if an airplane can eat up a goose and make the plane go down, I'm sure that a giant-ass turbine's going to definitely cut down a couple of the flock.
Stranger things have happened. Some of the other parts to this roll into another part of it.
That's funny.
Which would be, hang on, we'll get to that in a second. We're jumping around. It'll be overhauling transportation. Yeah. Completely. All transportation. You will not have any combustion engines inside of vehicles.
That means they literally have to... So, I think we talked about this in an earlier episode, that I said Honda's one of the most widely owned motors, period. Yeah. That means they would have to change every generator, every this, every that.
Yes.
That's...
all of them.
You can't.
In 10 years.
You can't.
No.
You can't.
It's frivolous. Unnecessary.
No.
It's like most gun laws.
Yes, that's another story, of course. Just to put my 2 cents in. Electric standards when it comes to cars, motors, and all that kind of stuff. The time will come, but it's not in 10 years.
Where do you get the power for an electric car from?
Well, you got to make the battery.
Well, not even that, but like we're beyond the battery. The battery is its own pollution issue.
Yeah.
Where do you get the power for your car?
From an energy source.
Well, where do you plug it in?
You can plug it into your house. You can use a solar panel.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you're using...
But if it's nighttime and your car's plugged in...
You better get your
battery
flashlight.
Backups suck.
You better get your crank flashlight and just keep on looking at the solar panel.
So how are you gonna charge...
It's not feasible.
What provides power to your house?
We know this. Energy.
No,
you got gas, you got electric, you got this, you got that.
And we can't use nuclear.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to end... She wants to end all air travel. Replace it with rail systems.
I guess I'll be walking everywhere now.
Yeah. Get a little thinner.
Listen, I'm working on it.
But how are we going to get to Hawaii?
By a boat.
How are all these senators going to fly to, what was it? I guess they were going, whatever. Elizabeth Warren was going somewhere and Trump canceled the flight.
I mean, with her background, I guess she could use a horse.
Oh, no, it was Nancy. Yeah, sorry. You did the joke right. I was thinking about the wrong person. It was Nancy
Fake
Pelosi.
news. Fake
Sorry.
news. It's okay. She's a
We
queer
correct ourselves right
Yes,
away.
we're politically correct and
So now,
logically correct.
the one you were laughing about, I'll let you...
All right, so you know cows, right? Cows are very profitable.
The best food comes from a cow. The world's greatest sandwich. It's meat on bread.
I will agree. So, largest cash crop to a degree, but they want to...
There's no money in it, but different
I mean,
conversation.
we use it a lot.
Yeah.
For multiple things. They want to get rid of that because they want to eliminate pollution and gas emissions. And
on all farms.
On all farms. And most of the methane comes from freaking cows.
A quarter of all of the United States
that's still
methane
a lot.
emissions. It's not most, but it is a lot.
Yeah, you're going to get rid of a lot. You got to get rid of all the cows to cut down by 25%.
Or you got to put like little filters on there. The behinds.
Yeah. That's just utterly ridiculous.
Oh.
I'm on a roll tonight.
Oh, jeez. All right, and here's a good one. A guaranteed job for everyone.
Really? That's great.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that is.
What are they gonna do?
Well, let me read the rest of this because on paper it sounds like a good point, but it's one of those fine print.
Well,
type
I don't
of
have
things.
anything else written down about it.
Oh, jeez. Oh. So what's good about it?
Everyone has a job.
Everyone has a job, and people need jobs.
Where are they gonna come from?
Probably from their parents, because that's usually how people come from places.
Where the job's gonna come from?
Oh, from our booming economic... Wow.
We're at our lowest unemployment.
What are we, 3 point something?
I don't know.
Or is it... Did it hit 2.9?
I don't think it's down that far.
3.4?
Let's just leave the numbers off.
Numbers are numbers.
As the person legislating this or proposing and everything this bill says, it doesn't matter if I'm factually correct because I'm morally correct.
Yes.
So, with the booming economy, we still have some unemployment.
Yes.
Somebody has to pay these people. Who would pay for them?
Probably the employers. I'm being a smart ass. I'm sorry.
But no, you're good. But what if they don't have enough money to pay the employees?
Well,
How do you guarantee that they have a job?
free labor.
All right. So then the next thing is they want to make economic accommodations for those who are unable to work. Okay, that sounds...
Yeah, that's doable.
Reasonable.
We can try.
And unwilling to work.
Like the old expression says, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Right?
Something like that.
Yeah, you can try all day, all night to get somebody to work, but at the end of the day, if they're not willing to do it, you're wasting time, money, energy, and efficiency.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the thing that the socialists have been pushing the whole time is high-quality free healthcare and free college. But we don't need to talk about the economics of that.
Nope.
Because she has. In one interview, she says that this is in no way government funding. And then in an interview she did not 6 hours later, she said it has to be government funding.
Well, she's a woman of many awesome quotes. My favorite one is, we need to invent things that we haven't invented yet.
So fresh. So face. And then NPR says that it could cost trillions on trillions of dollars, and they have no idea how it's going to pay for it. And all right, now let's talk about the State of the Union. Did you watch it?
I watched about probably a half hour to 45 minutes of it. Nothing too crazy. You know.
I watched clips of it, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. But CNN says 76% of people who watched it approved of it.
Gee.
That's 59% were very positive.
Okay.
17% were somewhat positive, and only 23% were somewhat negative. Somewhat or more negative.
Mixed.
Yeah.
Like somewhat,
Anything,
okay, but not really
They
okay.
break it up because you have the people who are like, yeah, let's do it. And the people are like, yeah, this sounds good. So that's your somewhat positive to your very positive, and then you have your negative, which is just your negative.
Right. But to be honest with you, 76% of people that actually approved of this, like, That's pretty incredible.
That's
I
pretty
mean,
good.
I don't know how it was with Obama, but you know, we could always pull that up sometime.
Yeah, sometime.
Yeah, but
that's not news.
No, it's facts.
That's old history.
It's history. But it's pretty amazing because there were so many negatives around this presidency, and people said, "Oh, nobody really wanted him," but 76% is passing.
He's going to win re-election.
I would say so, especially after what the Democrats did in Virginia.
Oh boy. Well, we'll get to that and all the other reasons, but a big thing is that 82% of independents approved of this.
That's huge too.
That's
huge.
Independents are, even though herding or trying to get Republicans together is like herding cats, independents are a whole different story. That's why they're independent. They could go one way another day, then another and next.
We call those slingers. That's like a product placement. I can't do that.
Not until they give us money.
Yeah.
And none of them are.
Yep.
Because we need subscribers. So please, subscribe. Hit the notification bell.
We need quality content, products, and alcohol.
Yeah.
And we will make a great show for you. And we already do.
We already do. It's a little less exciting than normal because it's winter. But if we made money off of this, we'd probably only do episodes in the summer and only produce the highest quality. And let me tell you, I know a thing or two about YouTube videos.
You do, apparently.
So subscribe, click the notification bell, comment, tell me what you think of the Green New Deal. Tell me what you think of President Trump's speech, which he covered a big range of things. Mm-hmm. And this also gets into why he's going to win re-election. But before we get into that...
Can I put my 2 cents with the subscribe thing?
Yeah.
Possibly suggest new video content. Anything that you could think of that you would like to watch. Because we're here for you guys.
Yeah.
We like having fun, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure you guys have fun too.
That's a good way. That's a good idea. We are going to refill our drinks, take a quick merge, probably no break, just a merge. Now, depending on how much I edit out, this will contextually make sense. I'll probably cut right into this. During Trump's speech, he took a lot of time and focused on unity and bipartisanship. That was a great thing, and a lot of Democrats sat on their hands. And this is all going to merge into why Trump's going to win re-election. Like the massive amount of independents supporting him, the speech where everyone's starting to see the Democrats just sitting on their hands while he's talking about unity, things that are typically bipartisan ordeals. So he sat there and he spoke about bipartisanship, the economy, jobs, unemployment, tax reform, energy production, unity, the opioid crisis, prison reform, immigration, border security, the border wall, trade, infrastructure, prescription drugs, HIV/AIDS, cancer, family leave, abortion, national security, North Korea, Venezuela, the Middle East, ISIS.
Fuck ISIS.
I might not censor that out. Afghanistan, Iran, anti-Semitism, veterans, and opportunity. He also discussed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, socialism, and the war in Afghanistan.
Which is still going on. How long has that been? Almost 18 years?
Forever.
Well, technically it's a conflict.
1 million years. One of the things that drove me wild about this speech was here were a bunch of Democrats dressed in white.
There were some funny memes about that.
There were funny memes because of what's happening in Virginia.
Yes.
But...
Not saying that's funny, but it was comical.
That they dressed in white, yes. But they actually dressed in white to celebrate the women's suffrage movement.
Correct.
So they're sitting there respecting women's rights, trying to. And when Trump talks about reducing the slave trade of women across the border, they were very reluctant to clap.
Yeah, they hesitated.
It's because they don't want to clap for Trump because they're just so anti-Trump. But it's just
I mean, how is that something that you can't stand behind?
Yeah.
I mean, statistically speaking, the most not commonly traded, but the most black market item that was internationally traded or sold is sex trafficking. The next one's guns, and the third one's drugs. That's how bad it is.
You know what? Someone a while ago told me, and I have not looked this up. This could be entirely fake news. They told me that the biggest day for sex trafficking was the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
I don't know what that means.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know. They never clarified more than saying that.
How do they know?
I don't know.
Better watch out who your friends are.
Yeah.
You might be in one of those video cams saying how much for this guy. Wait, were you already there?
So another thing was
See, I feel bad for laughing at all these things. Like I'm trying to do it like
try to put a comical spin on some very tragic situations.
Yes.
So getting into it, and I believe it was something to do with sex trafficking. And Trump said, well, we've reduced it by a third. And this is just an example of how ridiculous they've gotten. He said, we reduced it by about a third. And you have one of the fact checkers on the speech going, it was actually 31%.
Wow.
It's like when he was talking about when he said, whatever, this drug, oh man, now I've lost it. So,
well, all I got to say about this guy is he's definitely one to make sure that all the centimeters are right on his ruler, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Not Trump.
No.
The fact checker.
Fact checker.
Down to the last centimeter. All right. Let's jump into... So now that we have ridiculous Dems in public, reasons that Trump's going to win re-election. By the way, I've heard that Nancy might be caving on the wall.
Ooh, interesting.
She may not be ready to give $5.7 million, but now she's willing to give more than $1.
That's good. Well, like we say in the car business, do you want $50,000 for your car? No, that's ridiculous. Do you want $1 for your car? No, that's ridiculous. So your car's not worth this money, and it's not this money. What do you think it's worth?
So it's worth somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
It's not worth either of those things.
Exactly. So, it is what it is.
So, now that we have them in public being ridiculous, now we have them being historically ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And I'm slightly reticent to talk about some of this.
Why is that?
Because we're looking at historical items through a modern day lens.
Yes.
Now, it wasn't that far in history, so it's safe to say that we're okay here.
Correct.
But it still seems a little... It plays into an issue that I've had with the Democrats for a while, and they're constantly judging past actions
Correct.
on the present. People can mature, people can develop. A lot happens. We are covering this because it's news. It's putting a bad side forward, and it's obviously not like, this was okay 40 years ago. No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't okay 40 years ago. It's not okay today.
No.
It's just how we are examining ourselves under the microscope could use a little work.
Of course.
So, this guy actually made a modern mistake, though.
Very modern.
So, in 1984...
The unhonorable Ralph.
Governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, and as CNN reported, he was wrong. CNN reported wrongly that he was a Republican.
Correct.
He is a Democrat.
He is.
Big Democrat. He wore, for his medical school yearbook picture, on his personal page, in 1984, he wore either blackface or a KKK costume.
And we can't even say which one's worse because they're both pretty bad.
They're both pretty bad. Being in a KKK uniform.
But that's the worst. That's the worst. That's like low-key a Nazi uniform.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of is not, but
no, it's similar.
Similar taste.
Persecution of another group.
Correct.
So You tell us what happened when this first came out. Do you know?
Didn't he deny it?
No. He apologized for it.
Oh, he did. That's right.
He apologized. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, he was like, wait a minute. This probably wasn't me. I don't know what his voice sounds like, so I'm just doing a random voice impersonation.
You need to put a little VA friggin' twang to it.
So, he just said, then the next day, he said, oh, this weren't me. This weren't me. So,
what incarnation?
But, however, I did do blackface while I was dressing up as Michael Jackson for a party. And he was asked by reporters if he could. He said he learned how to moonwalk. He went the whole 10 yards.
Did he actually show how to moonwalk?
No.
I would have been kind of impressed.
He was looking around like he wanted to.
That is
and then his wife said, this isn't appropriate. Right in his ear. So now, okay, let's say that we judge these people on their past character. We try to get rid of this guy. The lieutenant governor.
Oh boy.
What's his story? This is all on you.
All right, Mr. Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax.
A black man. So he did not wear blackface.
Well, can I say it? He technically wears it every day. But...
Oh, come on! We're clean here.
We are clean. I'm just putting a little comedic twist to it. Comic relief was what they say.
I think the Hodge twins beat you to that when they were talking about it.
Probably.
The Hodge twins are hilarious. Anyone watching us should go take a peek at some of their comedy.
But only if they subscribe first to us.
They should subscribe to both of us. And we aren't even getting paid by them either. What the hell?
All right. So Mr. Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax was accused for sexual assault by 2 women. He denies both claims. Rape in 2000 at Duke University to one young lady, apparently.
Okay.
Not a 19-year-old, not a 12-year-old Scotch, but in 2000.
Okay.
So...
They aren't going to get that joke. I get it, but they aren't.
Well, I talked about the 12-year-old Scotch.
He said 19-year-old when we were writing this down.
Oh, that's right.
It was 19 years ago.
It was 19 years ago. So... That was the most recent accusation, but the first accusation, not saying, well, accusation's the correct word to use, correct? Because we don't know if it's true or false.
Yeah, allegation.
Allegation's a little bit better. But in 2017, another woman stated that he tried to Bill Clinton her.
Oh, what's a Bill Clinton?
Well, as we know...
Is that like a Dirty Sanchez?
For all those uneducated folks out there, there's a little...
Is that where he tried to use her as a humidor or something different?
Yes, a humidor, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, those were the 2 accusations, but this is on you at this point, right?
We could come back to me. The Attorney General, Mark Herring, just preemptively, he was like, you know what, I wore blackface in 1980 at a party, sorry. So, really, at this point, you know, I'm probably eligible to be the governor of Virginia.
Well, if you lived in Virginia, well, no, you don't.
No, that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
they all wear
true.
blackface. They're gonna find.
So you wear
something.
blackface?
No, I don't.
Are you sure?
Because I'm not from Virginia.
I gotta go look at my yearbook now.
Oh, jeez. All right, so now that's another reason he's gonna win, and just. They're showing themselves to have been crazy in the past. They're
Correct.
showing themselves to be crazy in private.
Just to go on the record, back in the day, it was comedic, but in today's standards, it's not.
It was still wrong.
It's
then.
untasteful.
It was still wrong.
It's
then.
If Yes, it's
It was
100% wrong.
It was never right.
No, not at all.
But they just... if
I mean, that's
they
almost
have
like
blown
dressing
it
like a...
out- they have blown it out of proportion that a mistake 30, 40 years ago. And now, we're not talking about sexual assault,
No.
which, by the way, we want to specify allegations because we had those huge episodes on Brett Kavanaugh.
Correct.
And if they are completely factless,
Factless, say that 3 times fast.
factless, if they are completely unsubstantiated by any evidence, then why should this be even considered?
Would it qualify as a hate crime?
Raping a woman?
No, I'm talking about blackface. It's
I don't
definitely
know.
a discriminatory action.
Is it? How are you discriminating then?
Well, not. I guess discriminating isn't a racial.
You are.
I guess it would be.
You're misrepresenting someone.
I mean, people do it all the time. Like, why is Halloween the? I'm not trying to justify blackface.
Right,
but like,
right.
Why is Halloween the exception? Oh, I can dress up like a gang member,
Like
MS-13 mafia person.
What? Like a sexy Handmaid's Tale uniform? Did you ever see that?
Oh, I did see that.
And that got
was
ripped
weird.
down. That was super weird.
That was weird.
So now, as you can tell by my lapel pin that I have unceremoniously stabbed into my jacket, we, as promised, because I now am running for assembly, 100%.
Nice.
We're going to talk about New Jersey a little. And we're just going to throw this quick thing in.
One of the
because
most ridiculous things I've heard since the 10 Round magazine.
Yes. They are proposing what the people fighting against it are calling a rain tax.
How can you tax rain?
Well, this bill allows counties and municipalities to form stormwater management utilities. And these are going to be dedicated to reducing the risk of flooding and reducing pollution. What will happen is these utilities will charge fees based on the impervious surface on property owners' land.
Correct.
So, pavement, brick, patio. I don't know.
It is roofs.
It
is roofs. I did read about that.
So if you have a building on your land, you're going to get hit with this tax.
Correct. See, I did talk to my parents about this to a degree. It should really, not to push it on somebody else, but the reason they're probably doing this is for these giant malls. Imagine how much money you're going to get from a mall. From the parking lot, from the roof, from the grounds.
Well, wait, but they normally have... New Jersey has actually been very strict on a stormwater management plan.
Correct.
On all properties being built. Now, maybe there are malls built before that was made, so they've literally designed ways to mitigate the impact of...
Correct. But they're just trying to grab more money. I understand what they're trying to do is, money's the be-all, end-all when it comes to politics and business.
But with the runaway spending, they have to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
Just adding more taxes is not going to help.
It hurts
because the spending's just going to keep running away more.
Yes, it's going to hurt it more.
So, now, we are going to jump into our segment on safety on a pistol.
That's not a pistol, folks.
And
Oh, yeah, it is. Just kidding.
The gun we are going to focus on today is a World War II gun.
Well, wasn't it pre-World War II? Oh, well, 38. So technically.
It's a P-38. I mean...
Pre-World War II production.
Basically, if I'll get into the history for a second.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
So, let's take a break. Welcome to Lost Mannerisms, the segment. He doesn't know. Anthony's out here helping before we shoot. He doesn't know about how much we like to say segment.
Ah, I see it. It's a play on words.
Yeah.
I'm being directed for today.
So today we're going to be talking about pistol safety. Pistols are typically semi-automatic handguns. They aren't revolvers. They're the kind of pistol that you take. It's like the 1911. You take, and every time you pull the trigger, a bullet comes out. I know I'm speaking in reductionist terms. We just want to talk about general safety so that you can handle a firearm safely. And sorry, it's cold out here. I don't know that my fingers are going... hang on. I'll hold that joke for a second. Hold that thought. We just want to talk about safety, general safety. So if you come across the firearm in your travels...
In your endeavors.
That might not supposed to be there. Might not darn tootin' supposed to be in this location.
What tarnation is this gun doing in here?
So you might want to unload it and safely handle it. And bring it to someone who might know what they're doing more than you. But once we get through all these general safety videos, we can start teaching you how to shoot.
Woohoo!
We might do some fun shooting stuff before we get into.
Gotta introduce everything.
I don't know that I'm gonna be able to work this gun. My hands are frozen.
Oh, stop it. The Germans did it in World War II.
This is a World War II gun. Now, this is actually technically a reproduction, but it's a factory reproduction, so it's the same people who made the gun then make it here. It's a Walther P38. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of firearms designed after this style's setup. It was made during World War II. It was the replacement for the Luger. The Germans had a lot of things that they made endeavors on. Endeavors, wow. Thanks. You screwed me up. They did a lot.
Don't blame me. Take accountability for your actions.
They did a lot of things that they found out they didn't have the money to do. The Luger was very expensive to produce. The MG42 was very expensive to produce. The
Sturmgewehr.
The Sturmgewehr?
Yeah, aka Storm Rifle.
No, that is the only assault rifle ever made.
Technically, yeah.
So, because Sturmgewehr literally means assault rifle.
Yeah.
They were trying to force propaganda, much like when people refer to assault rifles today. But that's beyond the point. Since you can't see it, I've had the safety on this firearm on the whole time. Depending on if your gun is set up for right or left-handed use, the safety is typically going to be accessible with your thumb, and it's going to have an S and an F or a red dot. There's all sorts
Every
of...
gun has its quirks.
Yeah. So read the manual on your gun, know how to use your gun before you use it.
Or go to YouTube.
Or go to YouTube. Someone will have a video somewhere. But typically, if it's red, it means it's ready to shoot. So you should always practice your trigger discipline by not putting your finger on the trigger. And you should not be pointing at anything you don't intend to destroy. Like we said before, treat it like a giant lightsaber.
Yes.
If you notice, he's over here for your reference.
I'm right in front of him, so that's why he's not pointing in front of me.
So I'm only pointing it to the left. He's probably going to get barrel swept. We're going to try not to. So you come across the gun to handle it safely. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find your magazine release. Some guns are going to have a button here, up here, over here, up there. Who knows? This one happens to have a little latch on the bottom, and you just pop that out. You pull the magazine out. Now you do this so that when you rack the slide to make sure the chamber's empty, you don't just load another bullet in. So now I'm going to rack the slide and make sure the chamber's empty and there's a bullet. So now I'm completely empty. Check it a couple times. Anthony, am I empty?
You're good to go, sir.
I'm good to go. So now this firearm is safely unloaded. But if you've noticed, this has the hammer back. Now, not all firearms are going to have this little feature.
Like Glock.
Like a Glock. They're striker-fired pistols.
Correct.
So whenever you put the safety on, it's going to prevent that from happening. The most important safety, though, is between your ears. If you know not to put your finger on the trigger, if you know not to point it at something you don't intend to destroy, your gun's going to be safe regardless of if it has a mechanical safety on it. But for good measure, we're going to click the mechanical safety on. This gun, though, has a decocker built into the safety, and a lot of the
European style firearms have
a lot of hammer firearms have
that too. Well, besides the 1911.
The 1911 is a very special case, and that's why we made a separate...
That is God's gun.
That is why we made a very separate video for the 1911. So what you're going to do is you're going to toggle that down, and on this gun, it decocks it. It makes it so it can't cock the hammer back. There are a lot of guns with hammers that aren't striker fired they're called DASA firearms. And what a striker fire does, as soon as you rack the slide and load a bullet in, or no bullet, I guess, whenever you pull the trigger, it's exactly the same trigger pull. The 1911 is a single action only, so that means The first round, you either have to rack the slide or manually cock the hammer back, and then it works in its single action mode. They get this term from revolvers. The old cowboy guns, you had to cock before you could pull the trigger. And then as technology advanced, you could pull the trigger and it would cock the hammer as well. So this gun, you can cock the hammer and you can fire it in single action only. But since that is not what you will typically do, you're going to take the gun, and this is why I had Anthony check it. The first time, if you go to shoot, you're going to load your bullets in. You're going to rack the slide. Maybe you decocked it to put it in your holster and walk safely to the targets. So when you go to shoot, you're going to pop the safety off, and you're going to pull the trigger. And now, we know it's unloaded, so we know I can dry fire it. You pull the trigger back, and as you see, it pulls the hammer back. And then once I keep pulling, it releases the hammer. And at that point, it will fire the projectile, rack the slide, eject the cartridge, bring the slide back forward, and your hammer's cocked now. So now your gun's firing in single action mode, and you're going to have a much lighter trigger with much less travel in it. And it's just going to shoot when you pull the trigger. Again, like all semi-auto firearms, every time you pull the trigger, a bullet's going to come out. Just because you think it's empty doesn't mean it's empty. Do not hit the trigger again unless you're pointing at something you're intending to destroy. Targets count as being intended to destroy, right?
To the most degree.
Yeah, unless you got a steel plate, in which it really takes a lot to destroy it. Someday we might get into gun disassembly, but for now, hopefully you now understand. And if you don't, on some points, you should go watch some of our older videos. I'm going to ask Anthony if there's anything he thinks I should cover as general safety procedures.
Absolutely. Do you mind if I step up real quick?
You could step up.
Okay.
Put your stuff down.
Yes, I will. One moment, fellas and girls and guys and everything in between. So, a lot of the time, especially with older firearms, that when you do intend to shoot the firearm, might not necessarily go off. So, at that point, your magazine would be in the gun, which means, let's just say the gun doesn't shoot, you want to keep that gun down range, because, depending on the ammunition, depending on the gun, there's a slight chance that the round might go off. So, to make sure that it doesn't keep on going off, the first thing you want to do is drop the magazine.
Keep it pointed away.
Keeping it pointed downrange. Don't pull one of those smart face YouTube people and be like, oh, what's down the barrel? Why isn't it shooting? And that's a no-go. So, once you count, NRA says up to 5 seconds, but,
Count to 10.
Count to 10 to be safe. What you want to do immediately is rack it back, and then close it, put the gun down, put the gun on safe even, and then just get the ammunition, check it out, make sure it's okay, and then throw it away, put it into a dud area.
That's good. That's, what's that considered, a squib?
Yeah. I mean, there's multiple things that happen when...
There's a lot of different rounds, and we were going to start getting into some of the...
Hey, you flagged me! God!
We were going to start getting into the... We're just going over the general safeties. We will get into some of the funky things that can happen with firearms. You
More
can
intricate.
have intricate. You can have things like a stovepipe where an empty cartridge will semi-eject and stand up on top. There's a lot of different, and he's going to mess up the camera, so...
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
it's an old barn. The floorboards
It's
move.
perfectly fine!
Subscribe. Click the notification bell. Like, comment. Tell us anything you think. Just tell us how our hair looks today. I don't care.
You look beautiful today.
Thanks for watching.
It's amazing how much Pogo sounds like Toto.
I don't think it sounds like Toto at all.
Really? That whole little vibe?
No.
Listen to Hold the Line, Africa, all those Toto songs. I guarantee you Pogo had a little inspiration from Toto.
Maybe.
Pogo,
It sounds like he has more inspiration from Disney. Because most of his clips come from Disney movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, You already knew how to handle a P-38 safely. Do you?
I do.
Do you learn any history?
Well, due to the name and the model number for the Walter P-38, I'm going to guess that it was pre-made in 1938.
You didn't pay attention at all, did you?
No.
Ah.
Why? What did I have to pay attention
Well,
to?
then why don't you talk about this thing that you wanted me to get? Apex Legends.
Ah, Apex Legends. Okay. So for all those that aren't into gaming, Apex Legend is now a new battle royale game, similar to Fortnite, PUBG, all those other types of clones out there. And it's free to play, of course. But the coolest thing about this game was there was no marketing or advertisement attached to this game, and it was made by the creators of Titanfall. What? Oh, jeez. That's not good. It was made by the creators of Titanfall called Respawn, and EA just helped out with the service and servers and a couple other things. So, did you download it yet?
Maybe. I don't know. I gotta check my Xbox.
Okay, yeah. So, what's really cool about Apex Legend that takes it away from other battle royale games is it's squads of 3, and you can only have one type of character. There's 8 characters to choose from right now, and it's very fast paced.
Yeah.
And just a lot of fun. It's definitely something that...
I was hearing good things about the communications on the game.
Yes. So another key thing that they did in Apex Legends was if you don't need a microphone or if you don't have a microphone, you can still communicate with your squad mates. So just like in Battlefield, if you guys are familiar, you can, ping an enemy, like tag an enemy, spot an enemy. It's very similar to that, but you can say like, oh, I'm going to go check out this building. Oh, I think somebody's been over there. Oh, there's a target right in front of me. And not only that, like that you can do manually, your characters also speak to each other as well. So if they get shot, the guy says, I'm under fire without anybody doing anything besides reacting to the situation.
So a lot of it's kind of just automatic.
It's intuitive. It's very team-oriented. It's overall a very good game that you can buy for free.
Great. You had another thing that was fun, and I'm going to introduce it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
What did you do to these pages?
What do you mean?
Why are they sticky? How'd you do that? Did you
I spilled some scotch on them before.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Just a little bit.
Scotch is the new glue/staple.
Yeah.
Now I can bring it to work.
Excuses. So, since we trashed them last episode, the best social justice warrior your hair can get, I wanted them to get the chance to redeem themselves.
Absolutely.
And they completely and utterly failed. Because they came out with this brilliant new product for the most comfort in shaving. The best your hair can get. I'll let you introduce the product.
We now introduce the Gillette Heated Razor. Like any old regular razor that you shave with, but this one's heated.
Why?
Because I guess people like to dry shave with a hot blade. People don't know how to use hot water to heat up their
Why would
blade.
you dry shave?
Hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Wait, you're telling me you've never dry shaved before?
I have.
It's very painful, but you gotta do it.
But I would rather not.
But sometimes people have to do it.
Why?
Alright, little backtrack story. ROTC, if you didn't have a clean shave in the field, your ass was kicked. And most of the water is fucking cold. So, what do? You suck it up and you dry shave it and hope for the best. So that's why people dry shave.
Okay.
So maybe it's good for military people, but still, you probably have to charge it up, redo the batteries, do this,
And then,
do that.
like, the people's problems with vapes, you're just putting a battery next to your face, and Samsung probably has some advice on that.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's been people that had e-cigarettes blow up on them.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
There's this one crazy video. The dude puts it in his pocket. It's literally a firework that went off. It's crazy.
Did he die?
No, he had a third-degree burns in that area, though.
Somebody died recently. It was a 20-something-year-old electrician. He looked like a bum. Not to trash him, but it was neat to see he was actually trying to do something with his life. He was trying to advance himself. He looked like the kind of person you'd expect to see vaping. He really did.
So, like, man bun?
All but.
All but.
But he...
He was all but?
Oh, jeez. But he was actually trying to go out and do a trade and do a skill and better himself.
Very good.
He had a vape explode in his face and a chunk of metal nicked his carotid artery.
Oh my god, that's fucking luck, right?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's terrible.
Done. So,
That's one way to go.
on,
They do say smoking kills, though.
Yeah.
With that note.
On brighter news, we're waiting.
I'm waiting on what?
We're still waiting on flexible phones.
Yeah.
But
I'm listening. Oh, yes. So, while while flipping through the internet, I found an amazing product.
sorry, flexing over here.
Yeah.
Weird flex, but okay.
Weird flex, but okay. So, LG put out a new concept / product. It's a yoga mat TV. Not what you think it is.
Is it a TV you can watch while you're on your yoga mat?
No, it's even better. It's in a little box, and this little yoga mat TV erects to 65 inches.
Whoa.
So, for the minimalist in any household, you can have a straight up... I want to say dick in a box, but I can't say it. Because it would go so well with it.
The only issue with saying dick in a box on this show is copyright infringement.
Ah, that's right. So, PP in a rectangular thing. So it's just like almost like a electric fireplace to a degree. It's literally a box. You hit a remote, the TV comes up.
You hit a remote.
Inches.
I thought you just unfolded it.
No, it goes up by itself.
What?
Yeah.
So it's like a projector screen?
Yeah, but it's an actual TV.
What?
4K HD smart TV with Google Assist and Alexa.
Oh, it's a duh TV.
A dot TV.
Duh.
Oh.
Duh. Dumb TV. Probably watching you. Yeah. Angry tech.
Orange man bad.
But that's a great thing to roll into
Literally.
my electronic endeavor.
Okay, cool. Oh, geez. Not what I think it is.
I'm building a computer.
Ah!
And some of the parts are actually, some of the parts got here today. The rest of the parts are going to be here tomorrow. We'll see what I can break.
Nerd. No, that's actually pretty cool.
Fine, you can talk about video games and I can
I'm
build
kidding.
something.
Oh my
and,
god. No, that's pretty cool. No, that's honestly.
Ah!
No!
On that note, on that landmine. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one, guys.
And get with the beat.
Alright. Go a little bit up. There, no, up. That's too close. Roll back a little bit right here. Yeah, that's good.